What is up, fishing world? Trevor Wagner coming back at you again. In today's episode, we're going to be talking A-rig, or is it umbrella rig? Either way, that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the umbrella rig or the A-rig, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to kind of break down the 3 different A-rigs that I throw, my rod and reel setup, which we're going to jump right into that here in a second, and kind of when I throw it, where I throw it, and what I catch when I throw it, because it's not always the black bass that I catch with it. So we'll talk about that as we get started. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my rod and reel up, which if you watched a previous video with the swim baits, you will see that it's the same rod. So I hit the ceiling. All right, so what I got here, this is my A-rig rod or my swim bait rod. It kind of doubles as both for me. In a kayak, you're kind of limited with the number of rods you can take out with you. And I kind of like having the swim baits and the A-rigs available for me when I'm out on the yak. So dual purpose rod. All right, so again, if you didn't watch the other video, my A-rig rod, this is a Lew's Speed Stick Laser SG1 series. And it's a 7'4", rated for lures, 1/2 ounce, 2 ounce. It's a heavy powered mod fast action. So it does have a little bit faster tip, but it does have that moderate bend that I really like, especially when I, work great for A-rigs, works great for the treble hooks of the swim baits. So it's kind of a good all-around rod for both of those. I have that paired with a Daiwa Tatula. This is the 150, and this is in a gear ratio of 7:3. And it fits really nice in hand. Everything's great. And if you're looking at that tube right there, yeah, that is my the tube that I use to protect my A-rig when it's on here. So I'll pop this off real quick and show you A-rig number 1. Slide it up. And there it goes. All right, so the one that you see right here, this guy right here, this is my favorite umbrella rig that's out on the market. And this guy right here, this is the Shane's Baits umbrella rig. I really like this umbrella rig. As you can see, it's got the willow leaves on there. Now, I'm in Texas, and in my state, all of these can have hooks. So I have 5 hooks on my umbrella rig. I don't have one of those chandelier umbrella rigs that have like 10 hooks. The biggest one I have is 5. I have a few different ones with 5, but in Texas I'm allowed to have 5 hooks on mine, so I run 5 hooks. So again, that's the Shane's Baits. It's one of my favorites that's out there. I really like those. It works really well. All right, the next umbrella rig that I'm going to talk about is one, man, I saw this a few years ago actually, and it's done by Tornado Innovations. Now, Tornado Innovations it's basically a couple brothers in Oklahoma. They're engineers, and they really love fishing, and they really do a lot of like striper fishing in Texoma and that area, and they designed this umbrella rig. Now, the unique thing about this umbrella rig, mine is pretty old, is that the arms are clear. So they're clear arms. They're very pliable and bendable. Now, what I like about this umbrella rig in the water is when you're bringing it through, the baits are they're kind of really close knit, but when you pop your rod, these things really flare out and come in. So it's just like that school of bait fish that's swimming in a predator cones, how they like pop out and then they go back, pop out and they go back. And that umbrella rig does a really good job of mimicking that when you pop it through the water. So really do like that. Now, side note, they also make something that I really like. and that is this donkey rig. So if you don't want to tie up your own donkey rig, you could go to them and buy one. And again, it's kind of on a swivel. You got the longer arm, the shorter arm. You just put your hooks on the end. Another really, really good thing that Tornado Innovations has created. I like both of those. All right, next up, another thing, with your umbrella rigs or A-rigs, Tackle Warehouse sells these containers, and I really do like these containers. And both these ends come off to make it easy to pop one off, to pull it out, and you can pop the other end off to slide it in. It just works really, really well. So the next one, actually the next two are the same brand, just two different styles. So this, again, you might be like, man, that does look like a chandelier as I drop it on my desk. This is the Yum umbrella rig. Now, one of the things I love about this is the full size. So when I'm going to use it, I would bend these out to where they need to go. As you can see on this one, it's got a lot of blades. This one's got a lot of flash. This is the Flash Mob, full size. Man, it's like a giant school of bait fish as they're coming in. Now on mine, you could see on this one, I do have two different minnow style baits on here. These are the same, and actually in the water column, it kind of sits. I know it's kind of hard to do with the owner rig. This would be the bottom, and these guys are running up top. So as you can see on this one right here, I have a weight, so that way this one will spin to the bottom, and kind of these ones will be more above these as they're coming through the water column. So it gives them two targets in here that are similar but are different than the outer ones. Now, one thing I've learned about umbrella rigs and A-rigs, you just gotta mess around with what you do. Mess around with the jig heads you put on here. Mess around with the hooks that you use. Mess around with the style of minnows that you put on here until you find what you like. Again, this is a big profile. When I'm using this, I'm throwing it. It's pretty heavy. Works really, really well. I like it. Works good. Put this guy back in the container. As you can see, very easy to do in the tube. Just slides right in and then cap it. And then this, I can just take this, throw it right into my kayak crate, inside my kayak, and it's ready to go. All right, the last one we're going to talk about, this is Yum. This is a Yum Flash Mob as well, but this one is the Junior. So with the Junior, if I get my hookies to undo themselves, ow, hook myself. All right, so this is the Flash Mob Junior. Now with this one, I also didn't go with the willows. I went with the Colorado blade. So if I want something with a little more thump, a little bit smaller profile, the water's a little stained, I need a little bit more drawing power as far as like vibration in the water, I'll bust this guy out. And this one, as you can see, again, I have the 3 and 2. For this, I got these guys with a little chartreuse on them, and then these guys are just sitting out here, little split tails. These are curly tails. So really, really good. I love this one. I love all my umbrella rigs. They all work. Just depends on the situation that I'm in. Now this Junior one is a little bit, these guys, a little bit trickier to get it in here because those wires are like very, very springy because they're a little bit smaller. So they really spring open. Get this guy into the tube. Go in your home. Voila. A-rig tubes are ready to go. Ready to throw out there. So those are the A-rigs that I use. Again, you can experiment with the jig heads you put on there, the hooks you put on there. A lot of times I'll put like the weighted jig heads on the bottom so that way it kind of flips it. So if I have certain ones that I want them to key on, that's what I do. The other thing is with the A-rigs, when I'm fishing them, I don't always catch largemouth bass. Now, a lot of people you see out there on YouTube, they throw the umbrella rig, they're reeling in 2. They'll get like 2 largemouth bass with 1 A-rig. I've seen some guys catch 3. I have never caught more than 1 bass, 1 black bass on an umbrella rig, but I have caught 2 or 3 white bass with an umbrella rig. So if I'm going meat hunting for striper or white bass, umbrella rigs work great because they're usually schooled up in really tight schools when they're out there. And I could throw that umbrella rig out, just reel it through them, pop it a couple times to like flare it out, and I'll catch 2 or 3 white bass with basically 1 cast, bringing it in. So if you're out there and you're not just black bass fishing and you want to catch something to bring home to put on the dinner table, grab you an umbrella rig. Go out there. If you have white bass or striper, let me tell you, they will light it up. All right, guys, so that is my rod and reel. Oh, I didn't say, on the line, I'm usually running 20-pound fluoro is the line that I use for my umbrella rigs. Again, you can experiment. Everybody does things differently. That's just what I use. Again, you go to Omnia Fishing or you go Tackle Warehouse, you go any of those places and you search up umbrella rig. There are many different brands. Hog Farmer has some really good A-rigs as well that are out there. So again, with the umbrella rig, A-rig, first thing you gotta do is make sure you know your state's regulations on how many hooks you can have on your umbrella rig. Like I said, in the state of Texas, I can put hooks on all 5, but I know my up north friends, they may only be able to run 3 hooks or 2 hooks, and there's some that can only run 1 hook. One of the things that you want to do, if you're one of those that you can only run 1 hook or 3 hooks, make those baits different than the rest. Make that the target that the bass sees, whether that be a color or a profile difference. Give them a target to target that hooked bait. Like I said, it usually works really, really good if you do something that's an off color or one that's a different size profile. A lot of times on a couple of those you might have seen, a couple of the baits that I want them to target on are a little bit of a bigger profile. They're not as small. Just something that's different that gives them that edge when they're coming in and eating it. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I want to talk to you guys today about with the umbrella rig or a rig. So let me know down below. Have you thrown the umbrella rig? Do you use the umbrella rig? Or what is your favorite umbrella rig? Let's start that conversation down below. Let me know what your state's regulation is when it comes to the A-rig if you know it. And if you have any questions and you want to get into A-rig fishing, you haven't, leave it down below. I'll get back with you. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. And if you can, get out and catch some bass. Until next time, talk to you guys later.